and we are back on Sportsman Radio. I'm your host, Chris, and we have Philadelphia Eagles safety Kurt Coleman on the air. Hey, Kurt, how's it going?
Oh, it's going wonderful. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks again for joining us on the show. We really appreciate your time.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
All right, so let's get started on this interview. You went to The Ohio State University. Please just tell us how that experience was to go to a wonderful college as Ohio State.
Well, I mean, growing up, in the state of Ohio, you're kind of bred to be a Buckeye, but to be honest, Ohio State was never on my radar. I was a Miami Hurricane fan growing up, but, as I started to get older, my older sister went to Ohio State, my older brother went to Ohio State, and then when it came down to the recruiting process, after I took my couple unofficial visits, I met with Coach Tressel and the staff, and, I met with the team and I saw the campus and I fell in love. And, the rest is history. It's been a great 4 years that I spent there. I got a great degree, and I'm proud to say that I am Ohio State Buckeyes.
All right, and in 2010, you were drafted in the 7th round of the NFL draft. 2 questions. First, how was that moment for you just being drafted in the NFL?
It's a great moment. It's something that not a lot of people can say, and I'm very blessed to be a Philadelphia Eagle. Going through the process, it was a little stressful because you never know where you're going to go or if you're going to be drafted. But thankfully enough, I got the call from Coach Reed, and he was excited to say that I was going to be drafted, and I welcomed the opportunity and the challenge to go and play for one of the greatest teams to ever be a part of the NFL. And I'm happy to say that it's been a blessing. I'm going to my 3rd year now, and I'm excited to see where things go.
And were you upset, or was there any emotion from you just being drafted later, having to see all these other guys get their name called, just being drafted later in the draft? Were you maybe upset about that? No,
if anything, it made me more motivated. I felt like I was good enough to be drafted in a higher round, but the process is you never know where you're going to go, and that's kind of the way that you have to go into the drafting process. You can't ride the waves too high. You can't ride them too low. You got to stay consistent. And, wherever I was slotted, that's where I had to go, and I had to go make a job. And even if I was drafted in the 1st round, I still would have had to go out there and perform to my best of my ability. So, everything worked out to my advantage. I've been able to start, for a year and a half now, and it's been a great time.
All right, well, you're still with the Philadelphia Eagles playing safety, and you're doing a great job at it, Kurt. How would you describe this Philadelphia Eagles team? We were very young last year, and we had so much talent. I think, the lockout season hurt us, not being able to form, because, football is definitely, it's a team game. You can't have 11 individuals out there. Everybody has to be on the same page. And for us, it took some time to kind of get acclimated as a whole unit. So it took us a lot of games to kind of get each other down and understand what we were going to do as far as one unit. But once we started to get a handle on things, we started to perform very well. And unfortunately, we ended up 8-8, and our season ended before we could go to the playoffs. But I think going into this year of 2012, we're very motivated, we're very focused, and I think we have a lot at stake because we know what we're capable of doing, and we don't want to leave anything out on the table like we did last year. You mentioned that you guys went 8-8 last season. Do you see any reasons why you guys went 8-8? Do you see, looking back at a few tapes, do you see anything that maybe you yourself could have improved on?
Well, in the NFL, one play can determine a winner or loss, and for us, it was unfortunate because there were a lot of games decided by one play, and whether it be a turnover on offense or a 3rd down, giving up on defense that led to a touchdown, there's always one key play that you can always look at and say, if we would have made this stop, we could have won this game, or if we would have made this 1st down, we could have made this play or won this game. So, that's an unfortunate part, but we learned from it. And for myself, I learned a lot. Being able to come back from being benched and look at myself in the mirror and say, I got to get better at certain areas, it made me a better player. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of areas where I need to get better at, and I'm continuing to get better at, and that's the best part about it. Football is a game where you get to challenge yourself. and it's going to be a constant grind. But I know I have a lot of room to get better at. But I like where I'm at right now and where this team is at.
Yeah, you guys have you guys are a very talented team. And last season, Kurt, you had 4 interceptions playing in 15 games, starting 13 of them. One of the games you guys went against the Washington Redskins. I can't remember what week that was, but you had 3 of your 4 picks in that one game. You guys won that game 20-13, so it was a pretty close game. Would you say that was your best game you've ever played in the NFL?
Statistically speaking, I would have to say that was probably one of my best games that I've ever played in. You know, I don't always look at my stats as an indicator of how well I did, because if you're doing really well, the QB shouldn't be throwing your way. And I think Rex Grossman was trying to test me out a little bit, but I love stepping up to the challenge, and I'll never back down from it. But I definitely felt like that was a game that I can really look to and say that, you know, not a lot of people can say that they've had 3 interceptions in a game. And I'm proud to say that I did that as a Philadelphia Eagle, and it goes down in history.
Yeah, and you actually, what was it? It was actually like about 30 or 40 years since the last Philadelphia Eagle player had 3 interceptions in one game. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I think it was 1966 the last time it happened. And you know, I'm in an elite class, and I'm looking forward to going for 4 this year.
Hey, I could see that happening, Kurt. You guys ended the season 8-8.
I hope so.
Yeah. As we said, 8-8 last season. You guys came into the season with a lot of momentum with all the free agent signings. Some would even say you guys were the Miami Heat of the NFL. What comes to your head when people say that?
Well, I think the Miami Heat are one of the best teams in the NBA, and they have one of the greatest players to ever play the game with Dwayne Wade and LeBron James and Chris Bosh. So, but to translate that into football, you know, like I said, you have to be on the same page. And for us, we had one of the best talent-loaded teams in the NFL without a doubt. But the game of football is a lot more complex than just being able to look at a piece of paper and say we have 6 Pro Bowlers and one of the best corner duos in the game with Asante Samuel and Nnamdi, and then you got Dominique Rodgers. I mean, it's more than that. So for us, it took us time to really understand that and to become one. And I think towards the end of the season, you could see that, and which is why we went on a 4-0 win streak. But there's also a reason why we had a 4-0 or 0-4 losing streak.
Right. All right, Kurt, last question, and that is, what can you assure us that what we could see from the Philadelphia Eagles next season?
Well, I'm not going to predict the Super Bowl. I'm not going to predict any record-setting years, but I will predict this: we will give everything we have on every single play, on every single game. And you know, to say that that may translate to wins, I really hope it does, because we believe that we're good enough to win everything. And I think for the Giants to win the Super Bowl, it gave us a lot more motivation because they are in our division, and we happened to beat them the last time we played them. So, and we beat them actually 7 out of the last 8 times we played them. So we feel like we're one of the top echelon teams in the NFL, but we have to go out there and prove it every Sunday.
Definitely. Kurt, thanks so much for your time. Good luck next season. Is there anything you want to plug on there for our listeners?
Oh, absolutely. I want to say that my new website, kurt-coleman.com, is up and running. We have new videos every single week, new blogs every other week, and constantly new material and the way for fans to interact with myself. And anything that they need to know, they can always contact me through my website. And I'm looking forward to going into the 2012 season with a new mindset and a new attitude.
Yeah, great website. That's how we got you on the show. That's kurt-coleman.com, right?
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Kurt. We really appreciate your time.
All right, thank you for having me.
Good luck next season. All right.
Thank you.